beautiful souls out there. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and my name is Starlight. And if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. You could give my videos a thumbs up, and you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Plus, you can share my videos with your family, your friends, and you can also check out my playlist. Plus, you could find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. So today's video is Starlight is this. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. Is laugh now. That's so funny. Cry later. Oh my, I can't believe it. They were right. They were right. I was wrong. They tried to tell me, but I was listening to my friends and, you know, my parents and even my wife or my husband. I was listening to everybody, but there was people out there. I can't believe what they went through just to get my attention. And I didn't believe them. I laughed at it. I thought it was funny. I thought it all was a joke. I thought, what is wrong with these people? What are they smoking too much marijuana or what kind of drug? Because whatever they're taking, I don't want to take it. And now I realize, holy shit, they were right. I thought it was funny. I even made jokes at them. You know, I even wrote rude comments on their YouTube channel. I thought it was so funny. And now I realize it wasn't a joke. They were right. They were right. I couldn't see it. There's people that kept on repeating the same messages over and over, no matter what YouTube creator out there that was inspiring people. They all were saying the same thing. I thought, what is this, some kind of cult out there that they're all like programmed to have the same messages? Every YouTuber out there that was creating content to help people, I laughed at them. I thought, there's another nut out there. Yeah, there's Starlight out there. What the heck is she talking about? And over there, this person over there. How this, but now I realize they weren't crazy. And that is how this reality is with the Matrix. People that are called insane are the ones that got it. And the ones that are labeled normal, the way society wants to accept people, the ones that are copying what everybody else is doing, following what everybody else is doing. It's all backwards, inside out, upside down, twisted reality here. What is it? Believe nothing that you hear, and believe only half of what you see. And I've had somebody reaching out, and asking me, why is this world, so messed up, and my heart really does. My heart, when I started my YouTube channel, I really was more focused on the kids and their generation, because guess what? They're the ones that are going to be running this world. And they're the biggest target out there is the teenagers, because that's, a lot of people are targeting the teenagers, the military people, the church people, the school system, people on the streets, people in the city. They are the target. And we all have been lied to, but my heart goes out to those teenagers and the kids coming up after the teenagers. Because imagine you, okay, put yourself in their shoes, get into your teenage years, and you don't have any hope for your future, because you hear, thinking that everything that you hear is the truth, but something, and then you hear other people saying it's a lie, and you don't know, people don't know what to believe. Is Starlight nuts? Is Starlight crazy? I am just waking up. And there's a lot of people out in the world that are waking up. And it is sad, where God is sending me to do something coming up. And there's a whole bunch of teenagers that go there. And so Starlight's got like this fun job to do. First I was like, but really that is why I started, that was a good reason why I started my YouTube channel. I have kids. And guess what? My kids have kids. That means I'm a grandma. This affects my grandkids. I have a teenager grandson that's 15 years old. People laugh. They think it's funny when they hear, videos out there of people saying that this is all an illusion. Wake up, People laugh. They think it's funny. They make jokes about it. I actually had some teenagers a while back that I was on a hiking trail, and I have stickers on my car advertising for my YouTube channel, so people can they get a message even if they don't check out my video or my YouTube channel. They get a message because it's about be the change that you want to see in the world. And that means that I have to do the work first. I can't help anybody else out till I do that inner work on myself, and I have been doing the inner work, blood, sweat, and tears. My whole life I knew I needed help. I knew I needed some fixing, and I did. I went out to therapy trying to get help, but that backfired. Not saying that, there's people that when you tell them the story, you don't even know if you can trust therapists and counselors out there. So it is a messed up world out here. It is. But on the other flip side of this, there's a lot of beautiful people. A lot of people all around the world. They are waking up and they're out there. You know what they're doing? They are looking for ways of being a solution and not a problem to the situation that we're in. And so my heart goes out to all these kids with the technology and the phones. And, at this one park that I go to, I didn't realize it, So around time that school gets out, they get dropped off at this park because it's a skate park. The bus drops them off. Cars drop, the parents or somebody in a car drops them off at this skate park. And some of them, they just get dropped off. I don't know, maybe sometimes people do this, they drop their kids off, at a park, and then later on, they just can hang out at the park. And then later on, somebody can pick them up and bring them home. They're going to get home somehow or another. But when they get dropped off, they get they go where the picnic tables are. And what are they doing? They're all on their cell phones, And, adults, we are the example out in public, whether you like it or not. And how we are out in public, it doesn't matter if you're their mom or dad, they're going to think that this is a norm. They don't know what it's like just having a house phone. Some of them, would laugh at what a house phone looked like. Some of them never seen a house phone. They didn't grow up in your time or my time, depending on what your age is. So we really do. We need to really help these teenagers and the children, and it's not just about the parents. It's about your kids. If you wanted to have kids, it's about building character in those kids. Even if you made a mistake, and I don't want to say mistake, even though you had kids and you didn't plan it like me, they need us. They need you. They need people. Imagine. Put yourself right now. We're going to say, because say you're like 16 years old. And that was when Starlight started living on the street. I picked that number for a reason, because I didn't even put my foot in a high school. Now everybody goes into high school at a different age, depending on when you started. But put yourself in their shoes right now when you're learning, even what the school system is teaching them, because that school system is a program to program their ass so that they can be another clone in the Matrix, thinking that this is how it's supposed to be and how we're supposed to live. Wouldn't you be scared out of your mind when you look at the world and you watch the news and these kids, they could be with parents, and because this happens, because, our parents are our teachers, whether we like it or not, who knows what kind of parents they have and what kind of advice they're giving them. What are they, how are they bringing up these kids? Are they even there? I know what it's like not having them there. Do they have somebody watching over them? Do they have somebody out there that's teaching them the truth? Do their parents even know what the truth is? On my YouTube channel, which I don't know why it disappeared, is I had a banner on my YouTube channel, and it was about, it's got to be on my YouTube channel somewhere, but it says about for the teens, but it's for everyone. It's because the teens are the ones that are coming up. They're going to be adults soon. Some of them already are adults right now. Some of you could be parents with teenagers right now and see and learn what they're learning in school. What is the school system teaching them anyway, right? There's a lot of stuff that gets said in the school that you don't even know. And whose responsibility is it to bring these kids up? Is it the government? No, absolutely not. Is it the school? Absolutely not. How about the church? Absolutely not. But we all been programmed to believe that's how we got to copy what our family did. And my kids, I can't say for my daughter so much, because she wasn't around after about 11, 12 years old, is that my son, I didn't want him in public school because I knew how wicked it was when I was growing up. I was on the, in a class where they pulled me aside. There's information that they say in those classes. And you might have kids, there's some wise, smart kids. They rebel against stuff, in the school system. My brother was like that. He rebelled. He questioned everything in school. He tested the school system out. He challenged them. He got in a lot of trouble. A lot of kids will get in a lot of trouble because they don't like what they're hearing. It doesn't resonate with them. They're not stupid. They're very wise. And my brother was an old soul. He got in a lot of trouble in school. Just like, people that question authority. That's even corrupt. Even when you go to church to question the stuff that's going on behind the churches, that's even corrupt. A lot of it. So put yourself into their shoes, like, boom, there you are. What kind of examples do they have out in the world? Who's watching them? Do they just drop them off at the, the skate park, not knowing what they're doing there? Not watching over them and checking up on them, seeing how they're doing? Do these kids, these teenagers, are they the ones running the house? There's a lot of them are. The parents fear the children. They fear their kids. They're afraid to discipline their kids. Because a lot of kids, they get so super smart. They blackmail their parents. So imagine you being a teenager right now in this world, waking up and you're just like, scary, isn't it? Having the computers, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes at the school with people with cell phones. What are the girls doing with their cell phones and boys, There's a lot of crazy stories that, parents have actually put their kids right online. I'll never forget the story about a girl, beautiful teenage girl. The door was shut. She was online with a stranger online, and she was doing a little sexy dance. Who knew that she was dancing like that, How did the parents never even know that their daughter could dance like that? And the clothes that she was wearing and what she was doing. It's pretty sad because the father messed up big time on what he did when he caught his daughter. It's one thing to put a video out and trying to help other parents, but to put the video, of the daughter, kids go through a lot these days, more, this is a lot going on here, and the way women are and the way guys are, a lot of times women, when they watch movies or even the music that they listen to, they see a lot. They don't know what a woman is supposed to be like. It's either they're one, one extreme to the other. There's a lot of churches out there, because I was in one, where they controlled what you wore, so then you were a clone. You couldn't wear pants. You had to wear plain clothes, covered right up. Hang on, Starlight's got to get some water. And then you have the other extreme where, how does their mom dress, What does their mom go out and do? Or relatives, There's a lot of us, we have relatives that are, we're like, wow, wow. Who are they spending time with? What are they learning, You can't just drop your kids off anywhere and thinking they're going to be okay. You got to keep a good eye on them, and you got to know their friends. What are we teaching the teenagers? What are we showing them? How are we being an example to them? The things that they hear on the news. They could have parents that, they're always watching the news. Imagine that. You can't get away from it. You're in a house, and that's all you hear 24/7 is the news on at the house. And it's, putting fear in that child and the way they see the world. Like, how do you think that they're going to even have any hope to even, think that they're going to have this great future that they, only could dream about? So we really need to, be there for these kids, and if you're a grandparent, I'm in a different situation. I'm not even in one of my grandsons. I can't even get to talk to him or see him or hear from him. And my other one, I get to check up on him, but he's 6 years old. Sometimes we only can do so much. I don't want to run my family's life and tell them what to do. But I'm there for my kids and my son. If shit goes down the line, I'm going to speak up. They got to decide on what they're going to do, with that information. They can either hear it and do something about it or ignore it. So we have to be a voice. If you're somebody out there and you've gone through stuff and you know some stuff, we really need you. The kids need you. It's the future of this planet, and that's why I am doing what I am doing, is because, I've always wanted to help out in the world. I was like that most of my life because I've gone through so much. I went through all of that so I can learn lessons, and now I can help other people that are struggling that, go through similar things that I've gone through. But we need more people, so there's people out there, you might be laughing at Starlight, of different videos that I created. Laugh now, cry later, because I'll tell you what, there was a teenagers not too long ago. I went out for a hike and went back to my car, and there was this young teenager, they were checking out my videos, and they were laughing. I don't even know what video. It could have been funny for all I know, because it's not about being perfect on my YouTube channel. It's about being authentic, and telling your story, whatever your story is, whatever my story is. And so they were laughing, and the young teenager goes, "Oh, Starlight, I'm your biggest fan." And they're all laughing. Where are the parents? This is a carload of young teenagers, boys and girls, no mommy and daddy around. I'm not saying that you can't do that, but you really need to know, where are your kids? And you got to be careful, because you can't even trust, you really have to spend a lot of time. And because everybody's wearing a mask, your friends, your kids' friends could be easily wearing a mask. They're good at that. When they go to school, they put a mask on, acting like they're little angels in the school. And then when we're around relatives, they, fake it. And, of course, with mom and dad, they really have a hard time faking it. So, if you do have kids, you gotta really watch, what are they doing in their bedrooms, and believe me, if I had kids, that the door is gonna be open unless they're changing their clothes in that room, So we have to be more, mindful of what the kids are doing, check up on their stuff, you gotta, you have every right as a mom or as a dad or even as grandparents to read their stuff in their bedroom. You would not even know, because Starlight did this when I was growing up. Kids will write. What are they writing in their books? Well, Starlight, it's none of my business. I want them to have their privacy. Are they out of the house? No. Are they working? No. well, then you got every right to read their stuff. They could be wanting to end their lives because they don't see any hope in this world. They don't see any chance in this world. And if they don't have good parents guiding them, and even if they had good parents and they don't know the truth of what's really going on, they could want to end their life. You know, they could have had a girlfriend or a boyfriend and got hurt, you know, and want to end their life. They could have gotten called names at school. That's why it's so important to always have an open communication with your kids, so they can always go to you. Don't shut them out because they need you. You know, they need somebody that they can trust, that they can always go to no matter what. And you always got to let them know that. Let them know, hey, if you need any help, I'm always here. And that means you got to make time to always be there for them. You know, or if you are busy, let them know that, hey, we'll catch up later, but make sure you do that. Make sure you say, hey, right now, let's talk, you know. They need mom and dad. They need somebody that they can trust to talk and open up to, because they are the future, you know. And they, you know, I just heard somebody, and they know that there's a bunch of lies. They want to know the truth. There's teenagers, even adults, they want to know the truth. God does speak through people. So even though I said in that thing is believe nothing and only hear half of what you see, but there are people that are out there that are speaking the truth. You just have to be cautious of who you trust and who you don't. Because if, you know, the wide way is the way of destruction. So if everybody's saying something the same, more than likely that's not the truth. There's a lot of people that, you know, believe in different things. And I'm trying to think of what they call this. Theories. So yeah, like it's a theory, you know, that you can't prove it. Just because somebody can't prove something to you, it doesn't make it a lie. It doesn't make it that it's made up. You know, conspiracy theories. You know, they label this stuff to confuse people. So now, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. There's a lot of times they make things to fit and make it seem like it actually is the real deal. Like, cops know how to do this. They could put things together and like, yeah, see? I don't know how many times I've been wrong by looking outside and judging things and, oh yeah, that's what they're doing. Oh yeah, I know what they're doing. And then find out I was wrong. So we can easily be deceived on even looking outside and seeing somebody doing something out in the park, and you're like, what are they doing? And you investigate, and you think you know what they're doing. And you know what? It had nothing to do with what you thought was going on. Anyway, so we all can be deceived. This happened many times. If somebody watched me out in public, believe me, they'd be like, what is that crazy chick out there doing? And not what you think. So I love you so much. So we really do. We need to be a voice to those kids. We need to, you know, if you got something that you know, what's holding you back? You know, if you got some wisdom, we need to hear that. We need it. The kids need that. You know, we got to be where they are. So God's going to put me somewhere, and, you know, I'm going to just step out of my comfort zone. And I'm going to do this because this is what God wants. This is where God is guiding me. So I got some challenges to come up, you know, facing my fears. And, you know, it's uncomfortable, you know, dealing with teenagers because, you know, they're all different and they all come from different backgrounds. And, you know, you got, you know, just like adults, though, you know, you got some adults, they're badass, you know, they always got something to say. And then you got other people that are really good listeners. They'll listen, but they might not say a whole lot. And then you got people that like to argue and, you know, laugh about stuff and get everybody else to think it's a lie and not real. So, you know, it's different, though, with teenagers. And so anyway, I love you so much. If you have something, a story, a book or something, we need you. They need you. This planet needs you. So don't think that you ain't got nothing to share out in this world. You do. If you got a true experience that you've experienced in your life, put your pride aside and put the story out. People, you know, I could talk about some crazy ass shit, and there's more. Don't worry, there's more. So I love you so much. So this is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, leave a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And share my videos to those teenagers. You know, I'm parking my car where the teenagers are. They're going to be like, Starlight? Be the change that you want to see in the world? They're going to be checking out my video because my car is going to be right where they are. You know, so that is what God is doing with me right now. So I love you. You know, be the change that you want to see in the world. That takes a lot of inner work, you know, a lot of bravery. It's not easy. we can do this, and we can do this together. I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.